Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the Caribbean. It is Monday evening, January 9th, 2023. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video, share it, subscribe and tap notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I post a brand new video. Also, feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section letting me know what the weather has been like in your area recently. Also, feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. I respond to all comments and I really live for this stuff. Alright, so let us take a look at the significant feature map across the Atlantic for this evening. We can see that we have a high pressure ridge that's dominating the entire Atlantic basin, sending a lot of easterly winds across the main development region into the Caribbean. We can see the tail end of two cold fronts of the eastern United States coast, one of which is affecting portions of the Bahamas and the northwestern tip of Cuba right now. And we can also see another cold front to the north of the eastern Caribbean, stretching all the way up into the northern portion of the North Atlantic. And we can see some lines right here across portions of the Greater Antilles associated with a trough that's affecting portions of the Turks and Caicos, Cuba and Jamaica right now. And if we actually take a look at the satellite images, we can see that yes, we have some low level clouds being pushed by that high pressure from east to west across portions of the main development region into the Caribbean region. We can see the lines of clouds that is associated with that cold front affecting portions of the Bahamas and Cuba. We can see another cold front right here to the north of the eastern Caribbean, stretching all the way up into the North Atlantic, just as seen on the weather map. And we can also see some amount of high level clouds right there of the Turks and Caicos, affecting portions of Cuba, affecting portions of Hispaniola and Jamaica, associated with that trough. Alright, so let us take a look at what was predicted yesterday for today across Jamaica. According to the video that was posted, which highlighted that portions of mainly northern Jamaica would get in on some of the rainfall spilling into portions of southern Jamaica, especially northern areas, as in inland areas of southern parishes. Let's see what actually happened. A post was made at 3:16 p.m. highlighting a buildup of clouds bringing some amount of isolated showers to portions of northern Jamaica. And if we actually look at the satellite images, we can see that yes, we had a buildup of clouds across the island, especially northern parishes got in on some of that, and then some of these clouds built up all the way up into the upper levels of the atmosphere, and then they were streaked off to the southeast by that northwesterly wind shear, just as predicted. And if we actually take a look at the infrared satellite images, we can see that yes, these clouds went up into the upper levels of the atmosphere, which is represented by all of those colorful clouds. The blues and the greens represent some amount of thunder clouds all the way up into the upper levels of the atmosphere. And with those high level clouds comes all of the thunderstorms, and what comes with the thunderstorms, some amount of lightning. And as we all know, the white sparkling dots on this satellite image represents the lightning strikes and flashes across Jamaica for today. If we also actually look at the Doppler radar images, as we know, the Doppler radar images show actual rainfall as opposed to satellite images that show cloud cover. The Doppler radar images show some amount of greens that represent moderate rainfall and yellows that represent strong rainfall across portions of the island, even up to recording hour this evening. And if we actually take a look at the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, we can actually see that yes, mainly northern Jamaica got in on some of that rainfall for today, affecting portions of southern Jamaica, especially inland areas of southern Jamaica. So inland areas of St. Elizabeth, inland areas of Manchester, inland areas of St. Catherine, St. Andrew, Kingston, especially northern Jamaica, so Portland, St. Mary, St. Anne, Trelawney, St. James got in on some of that rainfall today. Alright, so let's just take a look at what the temperatures are like tonight. If you'd like, you can pause the video right now and look at your specific area's temperature. Either way, right now we can see 24 degrees Celsius in Kingston and 24 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay. And if we actually take a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, both the Euro and the GFS for 18Z tomorrow, that's 1 p.m. tomorrow, are showing some amount of gold colors, and the gold colors represent at least 1 degree Celsius above average. And what are the average temperatures for the month of January again? That's 86 degrees Fahrenheit. And 86 degrees Fahrenheit, when we calculate it, that's about 30 degrees Celsius. So 1 degree Celsius above average, that's about 31 degrees Celsius for tomorrow. Alright, so let us take a look at the Saharan air layer map for tomorrow. We can see that yes, we still have a lot of blues across portions of the Central Caribbean, including Jamaica, all the way around portions of Hispaniola. All of that is associated with that trough, all of the moisture associated with it. Either way, we can still see a lot of dry air to the north of Jamaica, especially across portions of the Gulf of Mexico as well as south of Jamaica. The actual Saharan dust, however, is being shown across portions of the Southern Caribbean as well as portions of the main development region, not so much in Jamaica at this time. Alright, so let's just talk about the wind forecast for tomorrow. We're going to be having more of an east-northeasterly flow across the island according to both the Euro and the GFS, and the wind speeds are not that strong. So yes, we might have some buildup of some amount of clouds piling up across especially central and western Jamaica tomorrow, and then we still have some amount of west-northwesterly wind shear according to both the Euro and the GFS model at 18Z tomorrow. That's 1 p.m. tomorrow. So it would be possible that we have some amount of afternoon rainfall that are more biased towards the south coast. Let's see what the precipitation forecast shows. First of all, for 4 a.m. on Tuesday, both the Euro and the GFS are showing some amount of blues that surround the entire island, especially dotting the northern coast of Jamaica, some of which are underneath Jamaica as well on the south coast, the seas along the south coast. Let us see what actually happens at 4 a.m. tomorrow. Either way, by 3 p.m. we see some amount of blues across portions of eastern, central, and western Jamaica, especially southern Jamaica on the Euro. The GFS is not so robust with southern Jamaica, but either way we still have some amount of blues across portions of eastern, central, and western Jamaica. So we'll see exactly what happens with that. 3 p.m. we know that some amount of buildup of clouds and rainfall is going to take place in the afternoon, so get ready for that. Alright, so if we actually take a look at the accumulated precipitation forecast, this map is showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Tuesday. That's 3Z on Wednesday. So when we actually take a look, we see some amount of greens representing 0.22 across portions of eastern Jamaica, 0.19 of an inch across portions of western Jamaica. That's on the Euro model though. What about the GFS? This is GFS in consensus. Actually, the GFS is more robust, showing some yellows in there. So up to 0.33 of an inch of rainfall, and over on the western side is 0.29. Either way, some amount of rainfall is expected across portions of Jamaica tomorrow. So let us see exactly what happens. Ensure that you all bring your umbrella with you. Alright, so that's it for the weather across Jamaica. Let's talk about the rest of the Caribbean. So we can see that yes, we have some amount of clouds coming in across the main development region into portions of the Windward Islands. And if we actually take a look at the Doppler radar images, so let's bring it down into portions of the northeastern Caribbean, including Puerto Rico. If we put these Doppler radar images into motion, we can see that yes, portions of Puerto Rico got in some rainfall for today, especially northwestern Puerto Rico, indicated by all of that yellow. Portions of the U.S. Virgin Islands, sections of St. John, St. Kitts, Guadeloupe, Dominica got in on some of the rainfall, even up to recording hour at this time. And if we actually take a look at the Barbados radar, we can still see some amount of scattered showers. So we don't necessarily need a trough or a tropical wave or a tropical storm to bring some amount of rainfall. As you can see, all of the low level clouds being brought by that wind from that high pressure from east to west can bring rainfall on its own. Look at all of that rainfall to the south of Barbados, going into portions of Tobago, portions of Grenada right here. We can also see some amount of rainfall going to portions of St. Vincent and St. Lucia right there as well. Alright, so speaking of the Saharan dust for tomorrow, we can see a lot of browns. This map is showing 2 p.m. tomorrow. Some amount of browns across portions of the Windward Islands. So we might have some amount of hazy skies across portions of the ABC Islands, portions of Venezuela, portions of Guyana, Suriname, French Guyana, Barbados, mainly the Windward Islands, not so much the Leeward Islands or the Greater Antilles, including Jamaica at all. And if we actually take a look at the wind forecast for tomorrow, there is more of a east-southeasterly flow across portions of the eastern Caribbean, and let's say that's up to 10 to 20 knot winds. The general Caribbean though, the Greater Antilles, including the Central and Western Caribbean, have more of a weaker wind speed, as well as more of it coming in from the north or east northeast tomorrow. So we shall see with that. All right, so let us have a look at the precipitation forecast for tomorrow. We can see that we have a lot of rainfall right there to the north of Hispaniola and Puerto Rico, up to 1 inch of rainfall being predicted on the euro. What does the GFS show? Something very similar, and we know that when we have consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Let's scroll down into portions of Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, and Honduras, even portions of, let's say, right here to the south of Barbados. That's about St. Vincent, portions of Trinidad and Tobago. And if we actually take a look at the GFS, the euro model, there's some amount of agreement with that. So Colombia getting up to 1 inch, Panama, Costa Rica, Honduras, and Nicaragua might get on some of that rainfall as well, especially the area between Barbados and Tobago. That area will be getting in on some amount of rainfall tomorrow, so we shall see what happens with that. Let's talk about the western portions of the basin. So portions of Belize, they've already been getting some amount of rainfall today, and they're going to be getting some more tomorrow. So this map is also showing the amount of rainfall expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Tuesday. Up to 1 inch of rainfall expected across portions of Mexico, Guatemala, Belize, portions of Honduras as well. And if we actually take a look at the GFS model, there's some amount of agreement there, the same spots that were just mentioned: Mexico, Guatemala, Belize, portions of Honduras getting in on some amount of rainfall tomorrow. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.